Welcome to Today's Woman, and today's topic is communication.
Hi, I'm Rosalind Poon, and welcome to Today's Woman. And today we have the incredible Kymberly Figueroa with us. Hello, Kymberly. How are you?
How are you? Doing awesome. How are you?
I'm always good, mate. Yes, for sure. It's part of the character. But Kymberly, for those of you who don't know, is a serial entrepreneur, and I really do mean serial. I think in the few years that she's been on this earth, she's become a master colorist. She's spent over 22 years training other women and hairstylists to be colorists. She's got an incredible transformational life consulting company where she helps people that need a lot of help. Maybe me. We'll talk about this afterwards. Right? And more recently, she's opened up her own dance studio, which is something that I really have to do. So this lady has a lot to say, especially about communication. So Kymberly, in your world, let's start with sort of when you were a master colorist and you had clients, if you like. Mm-hmm. What was important about communication there?
I would say first and foremost, listening to the customer. Really
Yes.
hearing out what their needs and desires are. And then I like to also confirm what I hear.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, because, they might say take an inch off, and my idea of an inch might be this much, and their idea of an inch might be this much.
That's true.
So I will say, show me what an inch looks like to you.
Well, that does lead to lots of interesting questions, but I mean, I agree with. Sorry, Bunky. Sorry, everyone. You can't actually see what's going on behind the camera, but I think what you said is really, really good, because for most of my life I've had really, really long hair, and whenever I've gone to the hairstylist, yes, in Australia we call them a hairdresser, right?
Yeah.
And I've asked for a trim, and I sort of say, well, I'd like maybe 2 inches taken off.
Yeah.
And no one's ever actually asked me to confirm what I mean by 2 inches.
Sure.
So admittedly, a couple of times I've come out and thought, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
As I look down at the floor, that's
Uh-huh.
right, and half my hair is on the floor.
You're like, oh, that's what 2 inches looks like. Oops. Maybe I meant an inch.
That's true. That's true. Very true. So that's important. I think you're right.
Yes.
I like the idea of clarifying.
Yes.
It's because that's what's important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and especially with the hair business, it's so important to be able to help the client and customer understand what's going to be the final result prior to, because most people that
Yes.
sit in the chair, they're afraid. They're afraid of change.
Yes, I'm afraid of hairdressers.
Yes.
Sorry, hairstylists.
Yeah.
I think we all are. So with that's important. But then when we talk about moving forward, you've got like with the dance studio. That's quite a different environment, isn't it? I mean, people don't come in and actually sit down.
No.
They actually have to do something.
Yeah.
So I've always been a bit curious about how would you handle communicating with someone that maybe isn't doing as well as everyone else?
The first thing that we tell our students is, don't judge yourself. You're here to have a good time, and to learn something as well. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with others, because most of our classes are group classes, and everybody learns at a different pace. So
Yes.
what you don't learn in today's class, you might get next class or the one after that. Is there really a rush to get there? Unless you're doing a
Yes.
choreographed
Yeah.
thing, then there's really not a rush. It's really just about having a good time.
But I think what you've just said now about to the person is to sort of stop or try and help them to not be so judgmental. Isn't it? I mean, that's not just for dancing though, is it? I mean, like in your transformational life coaching, wouldn't you have a similar situation?
Oh yeah, definitely. People, it might appear that people are really hard on themselves, and I would have to agree with that. That most people are harder on themselves than they are on others.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. That's
Yeah,
right.
we are really.
I can beat myself up really good. That's right.
Yes, and especially for an intellect, and we talked about
Yes,
this earlier.
that's right.
For an
Yes.
intellect, it's
So-
never good enough, right?
Exactly. Everyone else thinks that we're scooting along on life, having a great old time.
Yeah.
And as I say to people, quite often it's a little bit like the duck on the water. The duck looks very cool and calm, and underneath the little petals, the little feet are going like crazy. Well, that's probably me, actually. Yes.
Yeah.
So right now I'm going crazy. That's right.
Okay.
So I think it's important with communication. You've been very fortunate because you've also, when you were a master colorist, you would have training other hairstylists and colorists, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, in that educational process, what was a good thing about communication? What sort of did you use there?
Yeah. So, I mean, keeping in mind that the ultimate goal was to help them get to a better place than where they start from.
That's
you know?
true. Yes.
So, I would just really have them stay consistently plugged in to whatever training they were getting.
Okay.
So whether it was with me or other people, I was always encouraging them to stay plugged in until they reach their goals.
And when you say
Yeah.
plugged in, what do you actually mean?
In other words, for if you're going to get training,
Yes.
don't just get one session of training.
Ah,
Master what it is you want to learn.
Yes.
So maybe you need to do 5 or 10 sessions, or maybe you
Yes.
got to do 20 sessions. You know, with whatever coach or teacher that you're, you know, working with, and to help you with your goals.
I think that's a very
Yeah.
good point, because a lot of us are like instant gratification now. So we think, right, okay, it's going to cost me $95 for this lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pay the $95. I'll go into the lesson and I'll be magical.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
guess
like
what?
buying a black belt degree, right?
I like that. Actually, on the internet these days, you can probably do that.
Yeah.
But I think that's wonderful. So we've just about run out of time. So thank you very much, Kymberly, today for talking to us about communication.
Thank you.
And what Kymberly's explained to us, a couple of really important things. One is to make sure that whoever you're talking to, you've really understood what they've said. So it's perception. And so what Kymberly has suggested is we should maybe reiterate what we thought we heard and get confirmation on that,
Yeah.
especially if you're going to the hairstylist to get your hair trimmed.
Mm.
Secondly, also what's important in communication is that we are heavily judgmental on ourselves, and so it's great to sort of communicate to humans that maybe they need to do this repetitively for a period of time so that sort of their body and their mind can catch up with their expectations. Which I
And
think,
make sure that the communication is open and honest.
oh, I like that. Open and honest. Well, you'll go far, dear.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kymberly. And thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Have a good day.